I shaved my balls for this. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Spitball Media podcast. We're going to be spinning out the top entertainment stories of the week. My name is John Draper. Shah, I got a fresh cut.
Yeah, man, I see that. Yeah. I'm just glad you're not popping out with your balls out, man. We don't need to see your long ass balls. We've heard about how long
nobody
they
needs
are.
to see those.
You don't need
that's
to
for
see them,
Patreon. That's a
Yeah, I take your
Patreon
word for it.
exclusive. That's a Patreon exclusive.
Let them nuts drag, right in the intro.
Yeah.
Let the nuts drag.
Absolutely. B-Show Brian, it's always good to shave that beard in the warm weather.
It is. I thought about going back to the big beard, but there's no way I can do it. Like, it was like 85 and humid today, and I want to die already.
Are you wearing a Loomis shirt?
Samuel Loomis Lager.
Oh, that's great.
Like the Sam Adams beer.
I love it. I love it. Listen, if you're joining us for the first time, thanks for checking us out. We really appreciate it. We do have a Patreon. If you go to patreon.com backslash spitballmedia, $5 a month, you can get a ton of exclusive content going back to Break the Apocalypse, solo shows, and of course, Shah, the signature show, the Q&A.
Yes, sir, which I'm looking forward to, man. And I'm sure we're probably going to get a lot of questions about, all the things that's been happening recently. That's one of our topics for tonight, but curious to see all the questions for this month.
I am too. And of course, B-Show Brian, that $5 a month in this economy is a steal.
It is. Like stealing third, man. It is probably the best value in podcast and entertainment right now. With theaters doing desperate things like trying to give 50% off tickets on Wednesdays, just know we're still $5 a month. All the back catalog, bonus episodes, Q&As, and John's long saggy balls.
My balls might make an appearance. We do owe you a couple of shows there. And of course, Patreon members, we got that link up for the May Q&A. We'll be dropping you a special show on top of that, and you get your weekly bonus shows. So please consider going to patreon.com /spitballmedia. $5. B-Show, who do we got in the old chat room? I know we've
got Duke-a-rerse.
Is that Dirk?
Derek Handel, Dirk.
Oh, Dirk, the Dirkster. Okay.
And they're all beside themselves because you shaved, by the way.
I look at least 30 days younger. Who else do we have?
Mr. Isaacs.
I'm a big fan of his.
Ryan Keefe.
Oh, he's hanging out. Okay, good.
Drucifer Yarcifer.
The Drucifer Yarcifer.
We have Donald Q. Stoney Esquire.
You always have to add that Esquire.
Absolutely. Slave Cheeks.
The old Slave Cheeks.
Hey now, Rich Dow.
Hey now, Rich Dow.
We got the Bayou Geeks, man.
Hey, the Bayou Geeks listening on the old podcast there. Okay.
Let's see. Did I miss any?
I think we got Kevco. We got Marquise.
Chris Matthews.
The Chris Matthews.
Yeah. And I think that's it. If you come in and we missed you, give us some shit.
We always try to give you a little shout. And of course, Don Stoney, 28 Days Younger is going to be my movie coming out soon. Because I'll take that in a heartbeat as I recently turned 137 years old. Ryan Keefe is going to Bombay, Michigan. Listen, we're just going to jump right in it. Big story this week coming out of the wrestling world earlier this week. The passing of the legendary Sabu. Terrible news. Recently, he was in the media there for an appearance he did with Joey Janela, which did not go well. We did cover it. But Shah has a personal relationship with the late Sabu, and Shah, obviously, I knew you were a fan. Clearly, you were. This was maybe one of your favorites. But you had, for people that might not know, you absolutely had a personal relationship with this guy.
Yeah. Well, obviously, first of all, rest in peace to Sabu. Dude, I mean, growing up, like Sabu, to me, I would put him in my top three, like legitimately my top three favorite wrestlers of all time. He was the guy that I got into with ECW, man. Like I saw clips of him in Germany, and then I discovered him in Original Chic and him in FMW, and I just fell in love with the style that he brought, man. It was just so original. I'd never seen anything like it. I'd never seen the use of tables. I'd never seen somebody do moonsaults like he did off the ropes. Like he was just very, very original, It's crazy because when he passed away, man, like this was one of the first ones that like actually like hit me like real hard because I was like, fuck, man. I was like, once you get to like know somebody, it's different. And I was going through like my Facebook messages with him, bro. Like the first time I'd connected with him was back in 2014. So I've been talking to this guy for 11 fucking years.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How many times were you with him in person?
I think 4 times. 5
times.
Wow.
Okay. Wow.
4 or 5 times. But he was one of those guys, man. I mean, I've shared with you guys like screenshots of him just like He was. It kind of threw me off every year because he never forgot my birthday. He would hit me up, directly message me every birthday, every New Year, every Christmas. At least those 3 times a year, Sabu. And I felt bad because he was always the one that would hit me up first to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And it's not because like I'm like special on his fucking list to do, but I feel like he's one of those guys that like he takes the time to reach out to everybody that he has some kind of relationship with to mention happy birthday or whatever the case is. Yeah. I didn't realize all the plans I had actually with him, and then I didn't realize how much fucking COVID actually killed everything. I was going through all my messages with him, dude. He was supposed to wrestle Matt Tremont for a show that we were gonna do. It was gonna be my first, wrestling promotion type deal. We were gonna do it. And I forgot about that. And I also forgot that we have like Nick Gage clips of him doing promos that was for the same show. We were gonna have Masada and Nick Gage. We were gonna have Sabu and Matt Tremont. So maybe I'll put that on the Patreon. That's like a little.
Oh, that would be. You know what, Shah, if you don't mind, I think that would be a phenomenal thing to put on there, especially right now. Damn, dude.
He was just a funny guy, man. He was very quiet. Like I could tell. And by the way, let me pass it off to B Show because I got so much to say. I'll end up.
Yeah. B Show, I want to bring this up. Don Stoney must be from the East Coast because B Show, my ECW experience was watching the Knicks recap on Saturday nights, coming home high and drunk at 2 a.m. and then they would they would air it for like an hour, like a Knicks game, and then MSG would air ECW. And that was my first introduction to Sabu. Bisho, what was your first? If you can remember your first introduction to him?
I don't remember. I know I didn't catch ECW regularly until they hit on TNN, and I think Sabu was in and out then.
Yeah.
I think I had seen him maybe on tapes at some point because I remembered him from Raw when he fought Too Cold Scorpio.
Oh, wow.
But it was like, I don't know, the Legend of Seb. Maybe after they were off TNA and I started watching tapes. Because like I would watch like not XPW, but the Extreme Horsemen, MLW, was it MLW?
MLW, yeah.
MLW.
But I would watch like the indie stuff that came after ECW, and TNA maybe is where I saw him too. But like, I just remember it was this I don't remember where, but it was some tapes that a friend of mine gave me, and I remember going back and watching the old ECW stuff, and then seeing it through like XPW and MLW or whatever it was, and then watching the stuff with Foley in Japan. And honestly, it might have been my first introduction. Might have been Foley's book when I was in junior high, reading Foley's book and talking about how, like back in '93, '94, that was the dream match on the Indies. And I think maybe that's when I sought him out, was when I got into high school and tape trading and stuff.
Yeah, Shah, my one memory I have of Sabu is I was at the ECW Invasion at Monday Night Raw at the Manhattan Center, and he jumped off the Raw. He jumped onto Team Taz. Kevin was there, the late Kevin Castle, Phil Rea, I think from Turnbuckle Throwback. So a lot of guys in bands were there, and we were in this pocket. Ken Shamrock was in the front row, and I just remember Sabu, like Taz came out with this Team Taz, and then Sabu was on the R and somersaulted or whatever off of the Raw about 20, 30 feet away from me, and it blew me the fuck away.
Yeah, honestly, out of everybody that I got to work with, I think he was probably my favorite, just because I mean, I've never I don't want to say idolized, because I never wanted to be a wrestler. I never wanted to be like any of these dudes, but someone that I actively seeked out to learn more about and watch more matches of always was Sabu. You know what I mean? Like, I would find him wrestling fucking Goldust on a Mass Maniac show from 2001.
Jesus.
And mark out over that shit. And I remember this is a funny side story, man. He had you remember that one website? I think it was cagematches.com or something like that.
Yeah.
That's all the wrestling matches. So this is back when I was still into wrestling. I looked up Sabu one time, and I noticed that he had a show with Mass Maniac in New Jersey, and he was tag teaming with Jimmy Snuka, and he had never worked with Jimmy Snuka. And I was like, yo, I just want to see the image of Sabu and Jimmy Snuka in the ring together. And they were going against Damien 666. You remember him from WCW? Yeah, I think it was Damien 666 and Halloween. And that was kind of like a dream match where I was like, I would never think this is such a random weird match.
Wow. What, do you know what year that was? That seems like
it had to be 2006, probably 2005.
Okay.
They were from AAA or one of the Mexican promotions, right?
They were, yeah. They were originally from AAA. WCW brought them in. They did some stuff in ECW. XPW had them for a while. So they kind of like did a whole U.S. tour. And it's funny, man. You guys know Low Life Louie?
Yeah.
Heard of him.
So shout out to Louie too, man. That's another guy, dude. Like I fucking love that guy. That's one of those guys, man. If he ever meets you, dude, this guy's like kissing your forehead. Like this guy is like the most fucking genuinely loving guy ever. And I remember I told him, I was like, yo, man, you used to work the Mass Maniac shows and the Jersey All Pro and all that stuff. And he was kind of a mark still for wrestling. Like he'll admit it. He loves wrestling. He'll collect shit.
Wow.
So I told him, I was like, yo, man, there's this one fucking show. I need to find this. It's Sabu and Jimmy Snuka against Damien 666 and Halloween. Jesus. And dude, the next show that I saw him at, Matt Tremont's show, H2O, he had a fucking burned copy of that. He was like, hey man, hey brother, I went through all my VHS tapes. I found it for you, brother. And I was like, yo, man, that's so fucking nice of you, dude. He went through his VHS tapes, recorded it, and put it on a DVD for me.
That's so cool.
February 14th, 2004, USA Pro.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, there you go.
USA
there
Pro.
Go.
Okay. Yeah. Some people mention Louis because of Don Tony in the Mass Maniac. So I don't
know Don Tony. I know Louis personally, man. Louis.
Yeah. And some people like Dirk brought up Sabu versus Mike Awesome. Incredible.
Amazing.
I think Chris Matthews brought up seeing him, on tapes, like getting tapes of Sabu. I mean, and Ryan Keefe is saying his greatest strength was his biggest flaw, that he never compromised himself for the big companies. Look, the guy had a lot of demons. And, quite frankly, I don't mean to be glib here, but a 60-year-old Sabu Shah is like an 87-year-old me. I mean, honestly, this guy did not shy away from things that would harm him in any facet, it seemed.
Yeah. I remember the first time I met Sabu, I'd seen him at shows in ECW, right? Like I went to 3 different ECW shows when I was younger in like 1999. So I'd seen him, but I'd never actually like went to they didn't have like an autograph signing or anything like that. The first time I saw him at an autograph signing was at the ECW arena. And it had to be like, no, actually it wasn't at the arena. It was at the National Guard Armory. Anthony Alston was actually there. That's the first time I met Anthony. Yeah, that's actually the first time I met Anthony. Had to be 2012, I want to say. Extreme Rising. Sabu was going against Facade, I think.
That was the Shane Douglas reunion stuff,
Shane
right?
Douglas deal. Yeah.
I think I know that. Yeah, Extreme Rising. I remember that.
That's the first time I got back into wrestling since like 2000, whatever. That was the first show I'd gone to. And dude, as soon as I met Sabu, and again, he's going, man, I'll be perfectly transparent with people. Like, I'm not losing anything in wrestling. I don't want to get back into it. I'm not trying to cover for anybody. I'll never forget, man. The first thing he asked me was, he was like, hey, man, are you local? I was like, yeah, I'm from Philly. You know anybody that got Percocets?
I remember you telling me this all the time. Yeah.
What? Like, dude, I just paid you like, I think it was like $20 at the time, maybe for an autograph or whatever. I was like, what the fuck? Wow. And then, I can't tell you how many times I met him after that at different like signings and stuff. And he was always asking for painkillers. Like he clearly.
I mean, he was not shy about it. I mean, listen, we all know this.
And the only reason I'm mentioning that is because a lot of people, and I'm sure which we'll get into, are blaming like GCW and.
Well, let's just go there, Shah, because honestly, listen, you're in a unique position here. You were a fan. You knew the guy personally. You were aware of his habits. You spent time with him. So you're overqualified.
I know everybody here. I know Janela personally, Brett,
that's what I'm saying.
Sabu, and all these.
So let's just back it up here. Shout out to Robbie Richmond joining us in the UK. The controversy around his death, which seems just a little strange to me, but whatever, is that they are somehow linking it to the match he had with Joey Janela, where he clearly shouldn't have been wrestling, where he was where we all talked about it, we all saw it. It was not good. This was his last match. And there, Joey Janela gave him Kratom.
Yeah.
Kratom sounds like a Star Trek villain. I don't know what the fuck. Like, honestly, it sounds like something.
It's a natural herb. It's legal.
Yeah.
You can get it anywhere. It's legal.
A guy like that who has been super gluing his cuts and burned and cut open and perked out and coked out and cracked out. I don't know that Kratom Shah was the. But again, he's also he's a 60-year-old fucking man, and I could tell you as a 54-year-old man who just lost a 56-year-old brother, this shit catches up to you. Where do you stand on this circumstance with this? Because this is a super controversy right now.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't believe it, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. When I saw Sabu at that show, he reminded me of the Ultimate Warrior when he came out. And it's because he was so puffy. If you go back and look at Sabu's face and the Warrior's face, they were puffed up. He didn't look like the same Sabu. You know what I mean? He looked weak.
That's why he had the suit
fragile.
On. It was very weird.
Yeah, he was like fragile. Like his skin would look like it was like falling off of him. He just didn't look like the same Sabu. which is understandable. I mean, dude, he's put his body through a fucking lot. I mean, this guy, he's mentioned that he's used drugs over the years. He's been very
of course,
open.
yes, I'm saying it's not. We're not.
This isn't like me exposing anything. These are things that he's mentioned. You know. Do I believe he was on kratom? Maybe they gave it to him, but I also think he was probably on other stuff. You know,
Yeah,
and I
that's
have
what
no
I think
proof
too.
of that. I don't want to. This is just my personal opinion, right?
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to take it out of context. I don't think it was just kratom or whatever that.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't.
I don't think it was just that.
Well, because they were saying that they gave it to him to get him out of bed because he couldn't get out of bed before the show. So does that mean he was so beat up that he couldn't move, or was he fucked up on other stuff? I mean, that's
We'll never know.
the old wrestler cocktail. You take the downers so you can sleep. You take the uppers so you can go work.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I know anything about them. I'm just speculating because of what's going on.
No. And listen, this is fair. Look, I have no dog in this fight. I don't like Joey Janela. I'm not a big GCW guy. But I also recognize that this was a 60-year-old habitual user of many things that was not shy, that had a lot of other issues that, you know, destroyed his body. He was probably in constant pain. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. But, you know, I said this, Shah, on my social media. I said, if you hated GCW, then you probably think they killed him. If you love GCW, you probably think it had nothing to do with it. I don't think anybody's getting one over, like you're winning anybody over. You know what I'm saying, Shah? Like nobody's. Yeah, it's like nobody was like, I used to love GCW, but now I hate him because they killed Sabu. Or I used to. I don't think that's what's happening.
No, but I think people are definitely being unfair to GCW. Like I mean,
That's
dude, if
reasonable.
this guy, what was that?
That's reasonable. That's a reasonable thing to say.
Yeah, because like I mean, yeah, he smacked his head on concrete. That was very scary. Like he was clearly bleeding out of his fucking skull. You know, like that's scary. But he didn't die from anything. He didn't die from brain trauma. He died from a heart attack.
Right.
Like it's got nothing to do with that, right? He did an interview on the what's that comedy podcast? The Skanks.
He did Legion of Skanks.
Yeah, that's right.
5 days before he died.
Yeah, he did that, and he was fine on there.
Fine. Seemed like the same Sabu.
Yeah, it was joking with him, and he seemed much more sober than he was at that show, to be honest with you.
He might have been.
Yeah.
He might have been.
I honestly think it's just from him abusing his body over the years, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of one of those things. I don't think it was anything out of the ordinary. But again, dude, go back on that footage and look at him and tell me if he's not puffy and didn't remind you of the Ultimate Warrior, you know, because that's. And I didn't want to say it on that show because I felt like, but I literally had that feeling where I was like, fuck, man.
Yeah, of course. Listen,
he
you
looks
knew the
kinda
guy
rough.
too.
Is
Look,
he-
this
is
is
he-
difficult for you, dude. You knew the fucking guy. You hung out with the guy. You know, the guy was a friend of, like, dare I say you were friendly. You were friends, you know. B-Show, GCW, is this an unfair circumstance?
Yeah, this is like so much shit going on right now in pop culture where like two things can be true at the same time, where they didn't kill him, but maybe they shouldn't have. I don't know if I'd say, I don't know if I'd say coerced him because look, and I know Ryan Keefe said something about, you know, he's a grown person and no one forced Sabu to do anything he didn't want to do. But like just the idea to offer Sabu, who is an on again, off again drug addict, and I don't mean that disparagingly. He's
No, he is.
self-admitted.
I mean, again, we're not. This is a fact. It's not.
It's the same thing I said when Dixie Carter was talking about Jeff Hardy and how much she loved him. And I'm like, really? You took a dude who got arrested with so much heroin they charged him with trafficking, and you let him do a swanton bomb off the top rope onto stairs. You let him do that. Really? Like, that's where I'm at. Is like, I'm firmly in the middle of, they probably shouldn't let him work because we all saw it right in front of us.
But it didn't kill him.
But wrestling fans are such fucking pussies anymore, dude. That's where I'm at. I'm halfway in between each because it's like, I understand feeling for the guy, being sad that he died. Sabu should have died a very rich man. However, a lot of the reason he didn't is because of the choices he made. So part of me wants to go back to the old promoter thing, the Roddy Piper thing, about how the promoters don't give a shit and they treat them like racehorses. And when they're done, they take them out back and they get the new one. And that's true too. But this didn't kill him.
Okay.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing is, man, like GCW, man, I don't think they should have had him out there, but it's hard for us to judge Brett. If you put yourself in his position, it's tough, man. Sabu is one of those guys that came from the old school. He came under the Sheik. I mean, his fucking uncle. I just watched the Sheik thing on Vice with Dark Side.
I meant to watch. It seems
amazing.
so
Loved it. I mean, he would hang up on you if you called his house and called him Ed. Like, he kept kayfabe to that extent, right?
Yeah, he was a wild guy.
So Sabu like grew up in a different era, man. He's one of those guys also that I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if he pushed to wrestle that night. You know what I mean? If he's just like, no, dude, I announced, like, if they try to make him like, hey, man, we got Tremont can do the match. If you don't, it's kind of scary. You can't even walk. And he's like, no, I'm going to push through. It's my retirement match, right?
Right.
I don't know, man. It's tough because I did ask myself that. I questioned myself where I was like, oh, if I was Brett, would I have Sabu go wrestle? You have the biggest crowd. Everybody's waiting outside. You know, it's Janela's advertised this. This is Sabu's here. He's saying he can go. Would you be the one to question it and say no, or would you in the heat of the moment say, okay, let's go for it? Like, this is a big deal. Let's go for it. You need this. We need this. And this is probably something that Sabu's done many times before, where he was,
I'm sure,
you know, probably not in the best shape to wrestle, and he did and got through it just fine. And he just happened to not. Now, the one thing I will say, I saw a lot of people criticize the way they set up the barbed wire.
Mm-hmm.
I will agree with that. That barbed wire.
You said that when we were talking about the match.
Yeah, it looked like shit. I was like, dude, you guys put one strain of barbed wire, like, that's not going to support anybody's body. You look at like the Born to Be Wired match with Terry Funk from 97 or 96, 97. Dude, the ropes in ECW were always cross-wired and double-wired, and then they would also support it by putting other wires around it, almost like the Caribbean style. And that's how it would support the body mass, you know? With these, like, 3 tiny strains of barbed wire, like, yeah, this guy's probably not used to doing wrestling matches like that, because as soon as he would get whiplashed into it, he just, it gave in. He was on the fucking concrete, and there was no matting or anything. That was scary, man. That was scary. But,
and you know what, guys? It is a sad way that's the last thing to remember him by. Before we move on, I just want to ask you guys, Bisha, I want to start with you. I don't want to say greatest match, but greatest opponent for a wrestler like Sabu, who was really in America, kind of almost in a very unique category, you know, as far as that goes. But like greatest, like you, I mean, if greatest match comes out to you, but I mean, for me, the Taz feud is fucking brilliant. I feel like it put ECW on for me, as a guy discovering ECW late at night, drunk in his apartment in Manhattan. I thought Sabu and Taz, I could have watched that 5,000 times. I could have watched that maybe for years if it went on. So that's me. Bisha, is there a match or an opponent that you go, fuck, that was great? I remember.
I like the guys like Taz that are wrestlers, so that Sabu could actually show his shit instead of just doing crazy stuff with Foley. So like I liked when he wrestled Benoit, but honestly, his matches with Too Cold Scorpio might be my favorite. Just like I went back and watched a couple more. I've seen the ECW Hardcore TV one, the original one when he first, I think Scorp first came in the arena. And then I watched another one where they were in like New Jersey or something the other night. But they also had the match on Raw, which was like the first, and maybe that's the first time I'd ever seen Sabu.
It might have been.
Like,
Yeah,
shit.
I remember that on Raw, I think.
In fact, I think the Taz match at Barely Legal was the first one, but I think their second one was like Hardcore Heaven or something like that. I think that one's actually
I respect the respect one, like for respect, and then he goes up respect and he shakes his with that.
I think so. I like that one better.
Yeah. Shah, this might be very tough for you, but
yeah, Taz and him had a bunch of matches. I mean, they used to tag team in the early ECW days. They were tagging together.
Yeah, because they were managed by Bill Alonzo.
I mean, I can't just choose one, man. I mean, Terry Funk is probably my favorite opponent of his. Terry Funk's kind of the guy that co-signed him because he knew his uncle, the Sheik.
Right.
If you haven't seen some Terry Funk matches with him, man, I mean, they've done some
they're great.
Yeah,
they were barbed wire. Weren't they like barbed wire matches?
Yeah, they did one. I mean, the biggest one was the ECW one, the Born to Be Wired.
Yeah, Ryan Keefe is mentioned in the Cena match. That was decent. I think that was okay.
They had a series, man.
A series, yeah.
You know what would have made that match even better? If Cena didn't go on like Conan O'Brien. I can't find the clip, but I remember this. They show the clip. Sabu goes off the top, hits a leg drop, and Conan's like, "What's his deal?" And John Cena's like, well, he's an angry genie, apparently, and he wants to hurt me. I'm like, Sabu does that, and fuck you. Like, I've never liked Cena since then. Sorry.
Yeah, Ryan Keefe is bringing up Abyss and TNA. I saw something like that.
Yeah.
They went pretty balls deep in it. Dirk saying the Shane Douglas battle for the future. And of course the RVD feud. The RVD feud was fine. Like it doesn't, they
had some great matches, dude.
They had some great matches. But
I like them versus Shinzaki and Hayabusa.
Remember that? That I remember. I like
one of
the
my
better
favorite ECW matches of all time, man. That's a fucking
That was a
banger.
big deal. What card was that on, Shah? What paper?
That was on a Heat Wave '98.
That's a good fucking.
One of their best pay-per-views ever, man. That's the one that
Easily.
had Taz and Bam Bam Bigelow going through the fucking.
Oh, that was great. Oh, Bam Bam was so great. So great.
Yeah.
Stairway to Hell, Sabu Sandman.
That was crazy.
That one's insane just for how quickly it falls apart, and they just have to keep trudging through it. It was a mess.
Yeah, I just think there was something special about him and Taz in an indie fed. Most people don't know what the fuck it is. There's no cable. Most people don't have the internet, that kind of thing. And they're killing each other in a bingo hall. And it's just so captivating watching that as a lifelong wrestling fan, to the point where I would just be like, I'm like obsessed with this fucking company. It was funny. I was with one of my brother-in-laws, the wrestling fan one, and he changed his clothes with my kid's graduation, and he has his OG ECW shirt. And we end up talking about ECW in the middle of the night, about our Mount Rushmore of who should have been in ECW. And of course we both had, Sabu, but Sabu and Taz, like Chris Matthews, it was just, it was clinic B-show. It was everything I wanted in a wrestling match that either I was watching on television or sitting in an audience,
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people shit on Taz now because he got kind of obnoxious. And I think once his gimmick got exposed,
I was a huge fan.
Me too. Like I remember looking back when Taz came into the WWF, I have to step back. I was aware of ECW and had seen some stuff on TV. And I remember, Jesus, what's the song by the Scorpions? The promo for whatever pay-per-view that was. They were playing it on In Demand.
Like a Hurricane. They used to use
No. The Zoo.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you see Van Damme flipping into the crowd. I saw that promo like 10 times one summer, and I ended up checking out ECW, so I was aware of it and super excited when Taz came in because I love that style.
Yeah.
And I really wish they would have done more with him. But to your point, Sabu was crazy and wild and high-flying who could wrestle, and Taz was just a wrestling machine. And those two together, it was fucking chocolate and peanut butter, man. Can I ask Shah a question too, and you too, John? Do you think if Janela didn't have the reputation of being kind of carny in a way, that people would be as mad at GCW about this? His whole publicity stunt kind of attitude?
No. Well, Shah knows Janela too. So, and he also knows everybody involved in that scenario. So it's different for him. So I will say, as an outsider, if that was an indie fed that wasn't, beleaguered with a lot of horse shit that GCW, and a lot of it is self-involved. Look, Janela has himself to blame. He's trying to be like what Ricochet is sort of doing, only without the talent. And, he's 5'3". So it's just like, no one is going to take that dude seriously. I think if it was somebody else, with a better reputation, if it was like a Matt Cardona, no one would be saying anything. But what do you say to that, Chad? But again, also, everybody, literally know everybody involved.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with Janela's reputation. Just recently, I started getting into like these GCW groups and deathmatch groups and stuff. Amazing how many people have turned on him, man. He's hated by 90% of the people that watch wrestling. People fucking hate him. He's got a very abrasive character too. He can kind of rub you the wrong way. I mean, you guys know I've been on a fucking roller coaster with Janela. I went back and forth with him for years. He would fucking. I'll never forget. He came on the show when me and J-Cat were doing a show. I told him, I was like, "Yo, man, differences aside, I would appreciate you if you came on as a guest for our 100th episode because you were one of the first people." And he was like, "Yeah, man, no problem at all. I'd love to come back on." And he came on. He just trolled us the whole fucking time. He's very petty. He came on and started doing all these weird
Shah, it's a gimmick, but it's not really a gimmick, right?
No, it's kind of him.
But him is the gimmick. Being that way is. It sounds like Jericho's kind of like that in a lot of ways. Ricochet is doing that now. We see this as the thing now. You can
look at it as him being an asshole or just being extremely passionate about everything he does, because he does get very emotionally involved in everything. You know what I mean?
And look, the guy was an unlikely wrestling star. At the end of the day, he was small, he was kind of douchey, he wasn't in the greatest shape, but then he kind of got in shape, and then he had a shot with what the fuck is that, AEW?
They wish.
Well, yeah, exactly. They all wish. But listen, Sabu's a fucking legend. I don't care about his personal habits. I don't care about, him no showing things or, doing blow all night. That's
Yeah, no, I don't
90%.
care about
I'll be
that.
frank. That's 90% of people I know in the real world. Okay. Everybody, I know more Sabus than regular people in the music world and in like all that shit. So as far as I'm concerned, he's just another dude who had some struggles, but he was super talent. I mean, the guy was fucking legend, dude. Absolute legend. And it's a very sad end, but we could literally do months of just highlights of this guy and probably still have more to go. But rest in peace to Terry Brunk. He had a very interesting life. He was a larger than life character, and people have been copying that dude and making money off that dude. And he was not one of them making the money, but that guy is cemented in history there.
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, just one thing to add to it that not anybody's really mentioned. When his girlfriend died,
Yes,
when
not that
Jeannie,
long ago. Yeah,
like,
well, she
dude,
lost her leg and then she died, right?
yeah, yo, like he really loved her, bro. Like you could
Yeah.
tell this man was like all about her. I remember when I wanted to bring him in the second time. This is when he started dating her, and he was like, "Hey man, like 1,000 for me, 1,000 for her," and I was like, "Yo man, like I'll give you 1,000, bro. No disrespect, but like I don't have 1,000 for her at all."
Yeah.
But you could tell he always tried to include her in everything, and even when I said like rest in peace, sorry for your loss, like he just like wrote out like a whole fucking like how thankful he was and how hurt he is. Like you could just tell, man, this guy had never really had somebody that he really connected with on that level, and like this guy was really fucking like she was saving his life.
Yeah.
To me, like this dude probably died from a broken heart, man. Like he was never.
He may have, dude. He may have, but what an icon, legend.
And his game requests will be missed, man. I will miss those random ones. And for anybody that doesn't know, man, this dude would send me random game requests, and I was getting like tired of it.
I remember you talking about that for a while.
I still had his cell phone number, so I texted him one day. I was like, "Hey, man, I think your profile is hacked, dude, because I keep getting these fucking game requests from you." He's like, "No, man, that's me." It's like, what the fuck?
Shah, if you can, and listen, if you could put it together, I think that'd be great for the Patreon. That would be a real fucking treat, man. Honestly,
yeah, man.
If you want to do something special, like just talking about him more directly. We have a bunch of stuff we're going to try to get to tonight. I think this is kind of awesome. We have not talked about this, but earlier today, we got a kind of big reveal. What Jason Un1v3rse is going to look like going forward in this sort of new world that we're in. And I was excited when I saw this because A, it's good for the show, but B, before I get anybody else's opinion, I thought it looked fucking great. B-Show, can we put it up on the screen? This is my jam right here. This is the new Jason Un1v3rse. B-Show, can you read that caption? I'm not gonna be able to see that.
Yeah, according to Bloody Disgusting, the Friday the 13th rights holders over at Jason Universe have unveiled their brand new Jason Un1v3rse redesign. With this new version of Jason set to lead movies, gaming, immersive experiences, collectibles, and more, it was done by makeup effects legend Greg Nicotero, or at least he helped with it. So.
Okay, so that's KMB. He also has been running The Walking Dead for many years. I gotta say, is there more? Do we get to see? We just see like. Okay, I just want to see what's on his feet. Boots. Okay. B-Show, I have to say, this is kind of, to me, looks a little bit like Jason 2, Jason 3. I'm very content with this design. I think it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, so I'm fine with the clothes. I'm fine with how he looks. Does kind of look like part 3 with the green shirt and the slacks and stuff. And it also looks a lot like the remake. And I thought that's one of the things they got right on the remake was the look of Jason. So this looks very similar to that. I don't like the mask. I don't know why.
A lot of people don't. I like it.
I don't like the eyes. They're big and kind of rectangular. And then the mask reminds me.
Yeah.
They are, but it reminds me of like Brutus Beefcake's mask at WrestleMania 9 when he had the titanium mask on. Like, I don't know why. Just the big eyes. Not a huge fan. I said this on the episode I did with the Jason Universe reveal that had the picture of the mask on it. Mm-hmm. I'm staying positive that this is just concept art. I'm just not a huge fan of the mask. I like the look. I like him. And I kind of want like Hunchback Freako Jason too, but
Well,
Let's
this
see
looks
what
like
happens.
6'5" motherfucker Jason to me. Like this looks like a massively big, at least a 6 foot something man, right?
Yeah, and I don't mind that, but like he almost looks too normal. Except I do like the balding head with the weird hair hanging off. That's a good touch.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I love
Um,
that. Yeah.
but yeah, I kind of like that Richard Brooker hunchback, fucking knobby-headed, sloth-headed
Yeah, yeah,
Jason.
yeah. Like Hills of Eyes looking vibe.
Yeah.
Shah, what do you think of this design?
I'm kind of with B Show, man. The mask, for some reason, I can't really.
Can we
point
get a
it. I don't-
close up of the mask?
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't have enough holes in it. I don't know. Like,
That's
but-
another thing too. Yeah. Hang on, I'll pull up a bigger picture. That's not really
Okay,
working.
go ahead, Shah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, he looks fine to me though. He just looks like regular Jason. They all kind of look the same to me, to be honest with you, unless like it's like Jason in space or something. But the rest, I mean, he just kind of looks like Jason. I'm fine with it though. I mean,
Well, I think
So,
well, right off the bat, I like the clothes because he looks like obviously like they're gonna like he stole these clothes or like I like the coveralls and all that shit. That's cool, but I feel like this is more throwbacky looking. This is the close up, the first one, right?
yeah, here. Unless
Yeah,
he
I
just
lo-
pulls up the big one. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people don't like the
Hang on.
mask. I don't know about you in the chat room there. Let us know.
Yeah, it just looks. Yeah, it looks like a fucking welding helmet. You know what I mean? It's like just weird.
plus this is just concept art. Like this is very. I mean, it'll look
Yeah.
much better.
But they released it. They wouldn't be releasing it unless they want it and then putting all
No, I'm
that
just saying
out
in
there.
person, it's going to look much better. This is just photoshopped. You know what I mean? So it's not
Mhm.
really.
Yeah,
It
I like
reminds me of that Splatterhouse game for NES. Like it looks like a generic Jason mask.
Yeah, Shah, what do you think of the hairs in the bald head? Like he's got like these like almost like a corpse. I like that.
I like that because in the first Friday the 13th, he kind of had the strainy hair when he comes out of the water. You know?
Yeah.
He had a little bit of hair.
And he's got the bumpy, like hydrocephalic
Yeah.
head shit. Yeah, that looks. I'm fine with how he looks. I don't like the mask.
Yeah. He's a literal waterhead. I mean, literally and figuratively.
He's a wet head.
Yeah, he's a waterhead. The mask didn't bother. Like I saw people like really taking shits on the mask. I was like, I wanted him to look. He looks like a scary guy in the woods who's gonna kill you, yo.
Mhm.
Like that's, you know what I'm saying? Like that's, I don't know what's going on with his neck. He's got neck dirt. I don't know. You know, he's probably not the most hygienic guy. I'm excited. Listen, Friday 13th is going to be a thing again. It's going to take a while. We're getting the TV show. They're shooting it now in pre. You know, they're going to do probably more games, you know, interactive. Hopefully it'll be better than what just happened with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. Oh my God.
Well, that's the same thing that happened with this, and the same company, Gun Media.
Right.
When the
They
rights,
lost right?
yeah, so the rights deal happened. They shut everything down on the game. Now Texas Chainsaw had this big game going, and everyone thought it was going to keep going because there was no rights issue. And now all of a sudden they're shutting down updates on that one too.
Yeah, they were like, we're done. We don't have anything else to do. I'm like, you can't even play by yourself. What the fuck are you talking about? And I have it. You know, Don Stoney points out he's got retard strength. I mean, you know, he does have retard strength. There's no way of getting around it. But he's also like a giant man. You could be small, Don Stoney, and still have the retard strength. It's when you combine the height, the undead, the machete, and the retard strength. You throw all those together, you got a problem for everybody. I'm excited. I'm ready. It's long overdue that we have this guy back, that we have this back in the world. We don't really know what else we're getting other than the TV show, but I do believe that Peacock show next year will be a catalyst for a film, probably interactive video games, maybe a TV movie. Who the fuck knows? But I thought he looked pretty damn cool. And B Show, let everybody know about your you just brought that up on the B Show Brian channel, correct?
I did. I've been trying to do something. I had to bust a slump, and they released a logo for the Jason universe. First, it was just the mask with like some generic logo. So I talked about that, my thoughts on the future, the franchise, and the thoughts on franchises in general. So check that out, bshowbrian.com. And then I'm going to try to do that every week. And if I have enough time and do it ahead of time, I'm going to put early access up on Patreon for everybody. So
that's
real quick. Forgot to plug this also. I'll be on with Soapbox Ant tomorrow. So
nice.
Oh, okay.
That
That's
Soapbox Ant. We're doing a whole Sabu tribute show. So
Excellent. Okay.
Very cool.
All right. What is that? What is that YouTube channel again, Sean? I'm sorry.
it's Anthony Alston. So just search.
Our good friend Anthony
Soapbox
Austin.
Ants.
Soapbox Ants. Ants or ants, plural?
Ant. Just A-N-T.
Singular. Okay. Singular.
He's a singular ant. Yeah.
Oh, he's a singular ant.
He's not an army. He's not quite
an
ant.
He's
the movie, but yeah.
He's just an aunt. He's an aunt. singular aunt. Another story that came out today. I'm really happy about this because we're a fan of this guy, and even though I didn't enjoy the monkey as much as most other people did, and these two guys didn't see it yet, we've liked his previous works, and I saw the hidden trailer for his upcoming movie, which I am over the moon excited about, which they are really keeping hush, 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 hush. I'm talking about Osgood Perkins, director, writer-director, because he directs his own movies. I believe his first film was possibly Shah. Is the Blackcoat's Daughter the first movie he did?
Shit, I didn't even know he did that.
He did
He
do that
movie?
Yeah, that's him.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm 100% sure. I recently rewatched it because of him.
Oh damn, I didn't know that.
Well, that was him, and of course, Long Legs. And he was, the Monkey came out early this year. Didn't love it, but it did quite well. People were very excited about it, and he's got an upcoming movie coming out. I forget what the hell it's called, but man, The Keeper. I really wish I bootlegged this fucking trailer, because this was like Long Legs trailer level disturbing. He's got a first look deal with Neon Studios. Neon really kind of struck gold with him with his other properties. And they will now be staying together in business. Shah, this is not only great for Osgood Perkins and horror fans, but this is tremendous for Neon.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm not too familiar with him because again, I've only seen, I think, Long Legs from him. Because I haven't even seen the.
You didn't see Blackcoat's Daughter? It's good.
No, I fell asleep through it. I watched some of it, but I fell asleep.
It's a good looking movie. It was made well. It was shot well, and it's creepy as fuck.
A24 movie too.
Yes,
I think that's the only A24 movie he's done, as far as I know.
It is. Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I mean, this is great for Neon, man. I'm glad because Neon was very questionable in the beginning of the year, dude. Once they released that horror comedy trailer, I was like, oh, dude, what is happening to Neon? I'm not really so confident as far as their direction, but yeah, with guys like this, dude, I'm super happy about it. I'll check out anything he puts out. The Monkey, I'm sure I'm gonna like it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you guys are gonna like it. I bet you're gonna be like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But
yeah, I mean, it looks good. Yeah, I'm excited.
It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. Bijou, this is huge.
Yeah, and apparently a first look deal means this. Perkins and Ferguson will jointly produce upcoming projects with Neon serving as home for the films that Perkins writes and directs, which means looks like he's got final credit or final cut if he's writer and director again.
Probably, yeah, because he's writer and director.
As well as those he produces for other filmmakers. So this is not just a great opportunity for him. This is a great opportunity for a lot of other people too.
Yeah, he could be a kingmaker over there. Look, he's a newer, I hate to say he's a newer voice, but Shah, he's like kind of in this new wave of people that their shit is looking good, it's making money, people are responding to it, and now it looks like he's going to be able to continue. Like we're not losing this guy to the DCU or the MCU tomorrow. You know what I mean?
And I hope not, man. I'm tired of losing people to the MCU. To be honest with you, I was just bitching about it last week with Florence Pugh. So
Florence Pugh,
yeah, lock these people in. I mean, Ari Aster, I don't think he has an exclusive deal with A24, but all he's done so far is A24, right?
Well, I think they let him do what he wants to do, and that's why he's.
And I mean, his fourth movie again, A24. So I don't see him going anywhere. If they want to lock in Osgood, I'm good with that.
Osgood Perkins, yeah, for sure. And listen, B-Show, it's interesting because, like I said, we kind of have this interesting thing happening where some of these guys seem like they're coming out of nowhere and they get very hot, and we don't see them again. And I don't really feel this is that guy. I think this is going to be a guy that we're going to be talking about over the next bunch of years, whether he's directing, writing, producing. Like, we're going to be throwing his name around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he reminds me. George Lucas did that. He came on. He did American Graffiti. He did THX 1138. He did Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then he produced. That was it. And he produced Star Wars, Indiana Jones, stuff for Amblin. Like, that's what the fuck he did. And Oz Perkins, he also has, I guess, the advantage of also being old Hollywood in a way, where his dad was Tony Perkins.
He's a Nepo baby. He is.
Yeah. So he's got connections. He's got a pedigree. He's got a hell of a lot of talent. I'm not knocking him,
Yeah, he's a very talented guy.
But at the same time, no, you're right. I think he's got staying power, and he's not like M. Night Shyamalan, who comes in and, oh, hey, look, it's this great director, and then the next 3 movies take a shit.
Yeah.
He's done a really good job, and he's put fucking points up as far as money's concerned. So, yeah, I don't think he's disappearing anywhere.
Yeah. Well, you guys need to see The Monkey, and I will tell you that next movie I saw, that trailer, my jaw, like I was like, I literally stood there with the kid sweeping up the popcorn in this giant empty theater 10 minutes after the credits, whatever, when the credits started. And I was like, holy fucking shit. What the fuck is this movie?
And that's the keeper?
That's the keeper. Yeah. And they're very hush. It's about an entity at like a school, with a bunch of girls. They're very hush hush about it. They're keeping that motherfucker under wraps.
And we don't have any teasers or anything for that yet?
They let it out there only the day the monkey opened. They let it out there for a little bit, and then for people that saw the monkey opening weekend, if they stayed for the post credits, they got to see it, and they wiped it off the fucking internet. They only have 2 still pictures of it. You can't see shit. You can't, and there's no details.
What's it called?
No, hidden. You're not gonna find dick about this. Just the cast and when it's coming out. And dude, I am telling you, this was like a fucking. I was like, I could have stood there for an hour watching this fucking thing. I wish to God we could get this trailer. I know we're gonna get it sooner than later, but it looks fucking tremendous. It looks absolutely fucking tremendous. But yeah, Bisho, they're keeping it under wraps. I mean, he's what?
Might have found it.
Is that real?
I might have. Let's see.
I'll
John,
know if it's real, dude.
You got to tell me though.
Is it like
Is
a
this
foreign?
Oh, that is real because somebody recorded at the movie theater. That is real.
If it's got atmospheric music with nothing else but fucked up music, it's real.
No, this is definitely real. You can
Should we try it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck it. It's gonna get taken down, but this is it. Yeah, this is it.
It's not showing anything. It's just this.
Really? Yeah, they took it down. Yeah, it is.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah. You don't have there's no audio. Oh, the music is the best part.
Oh.
Maslany. And is set around a couple's romantic
Nah, this dude's
getaway
talking
that
over
goes
it.
wrong. Said to hold.
That's
Yeah.
the music, by the way.
Okay.
But this dude speaking over it, that's gonna make my penis go to the inside blade.
It keeps restarting.
All right. Well, we'll get a real trailer for it. As far as that goes. Speaking of trailers, we were kind of rubbing one out to the Together trailer last week. And maybe there is a problem. So to rewind the clock a little bit, and by the way, I don't think we're going to get to any trailers today because we had a lot of news. But if we don't, we will get to them next week. I would like to do a deep dive on the Superman trailer and some of these other trailers. But so long story short, this Together movie, Neon Studios, by the way, we do a very long sort of review of this trailer. All 3 of us are like, fuck this. This looks amazing. I'm all about this movie. We're really excited. Yada, yada, yada. Well, there is a legal issue that just sort of surfaced in the last couple of days, Bisho Brian, that is throwing some shade on this upcoming exciting film that we're still very excited about.
So I'm not going to open the link because according to our friend Kimmy Kincaid that sent this over this week, apparently Dave Franco and Alison Brie were offered a film a little while back. They turned it down. And then all of a sudden are starring in Together, which according to this suit is a complete ripoff of the movie they were offered in the first place. $17 million copyright suit.
Yeah. So apparently it looks like a smaller company. I'm Bisho. This is in Variety. This is not some like rumor. Like this.
No, it's not. But I'm trying to go off of Kimmy's summary. She said, "Don't read because it's all spoilers. Just wanted to put it on your radar."
Oh, spoilers for the film. Okay.
Yes.
Let's back up a minute. The reason why we're not doing a deeper dive is because contextually, things will be revealed that you probably will spoil the film.
Yeah, so I don't mean to be cryptic, but that's not.
Yeah,
I'm not opening stuff.
thank you for doing it. I'm so sorry I didn't catch that the first time.
Kimmy gave us some details, though, that aren't spoilers. It says essentially a casting director allegedly gave Allison and James, who are married, the script for Better Half, a romantic comedy. They passed on it, and then along comes Together, which, despite being a horror movie, is, according to them, identical in very specific ways.
Wow. Okay. Now, listen, obviously, we don't know what's going to happen. But for this to even get in Variety, Shah, for this to even, be a suit, I mean, you could sue anybody for anything. But I don't know that they would go after a studio and go after, the 2 of them personally, unless they had some type of receipts. You think is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think they must think they're going to be able to win because it costs money to go to court, man. It's not free. this is kind of concerning for me, man. Because I mean, 17 million is a lot of money for an indie movie. Like, I was expecting this movie to make like maybe 15, 20 tops at the theater. So if they're already getting sued for 17, this looks like this movie's going to be a fucking dud for them, man. I mean, and again, this is a Neon movie, right?
Yeah, Neon.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Well, they're the ones being sued. I think they might have a hand in producing this as a couple. I don't know if Neon is named in the suit. And we don't want to. We're encouraging people to not read the article because I unfortunately did see some of it earlier. But common sense should give you an idea of what actually happens in the movie. It's you kind of see it in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, let's be honest. But Shah, I mean, does this impact your excitement for the film? I doesn't really for me because it doesn't change the fact that this looks crazy and I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to get it blocked out of the release.
Yeah, no, it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, obviously it sucks when people get their ideas stolen, but I mean, I don't have any personal relationship to those people. I don't know them. It's just a random name on paper for me, so it's not going to be like, I have no bias towards it at all. And again, dude, all movies are fucking stolen. Anything art related, everything is stolen from another person or inspired. So
yeah,
unless it's stolen again, we don't know the whole article. I don't know how.
No, we don't. You don't want to. Trust me. You get a little bit in, you go, oh, I don't want to know this. I want to fucking see the movie. You know.
No, but we also don't know how different this could be from the original concept that they presented. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know how similar they are.
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't. I mean, I'm just gonna watch it regardless. That movie looked batshit crazy, man.
It looks amazing.
I'm watching it as soon as it comes out, dude. This and Ash, I think that was another one that looked crazy. Those are
that's coming to streaming soon, by the way. That's gonna be available for streaming soon. That's from that DJ guy or whatever, that weird guy.
Yeah, he's like a musician. Something
he's a musician.
Lotus?
He's like a performer. Flying Lotus.
Flying Lotus, yeah.
B-Show, does this temper your excitement for the product? I mean, like, I'm still really excited about this movie.
I am. I think the finished product looks really good and is going to speak for itself. It really sucks if it's a ripoff. But this happens all the time too. A couple months ago, there was someone claiming another movie was ripped off of them. If you go all the way back to Friday the 13th, since we're talking about that, some accused them of ripping off The Burning because they're similar, but they're all kind of based on the same Adirondack urban legend stories of the time.
Right.
So who knows, man? And there's so many scripts, going around Hollywood. Who knows what's mine and what's yours? And honestly, how many times have you thought of something you think is a good idea, and then you realize that someone else has done that, or you see someone else and go, "Oh fuck!"
Or how many times have we said something on this show and then it became a thing, and we're like, "Oh, that's interesting."
Yeah, it doesn't mean someone heard us and stole it. It's just happenstance.
It's just interesting. And Drew Yara, to answer your question, how did the casting director know that things in the movie are similar to the ideas for their film? This movie screened at festivals. They might have seen the fucking film.
It screened at Sundance.
It screened at Sundance. So many people saw and reviewed and discussed this film. Just because us plebes didn't get to see it. I mean, listen, again, I let's see how this plays out. We've seen this. I remember Coming to America. You guys are a lot younger, but Eddie Murphy got sued for Coming to America because apparently it was a complete ripoff from somebody else. And they went to court, and Arsenio Hall was in court. Like, this was a long court case. It wasn't on TV, but there was like artist depictions, and Arsenio Hall said at one point, "I'll just give this motherfucker $3 million if I could have to stop coming here," or something like that. Like, so I don't know. Yeah, look, Drew Yari, I've been saying that about Fantastic Four and podcasts for like 8 years. That it has to be in the 60s. It has to be in the 60s. Motherfuckers in the 60s. So give me a break. But yeah, it's going to be. I'm sorry, go ahead.
John, Robbie sent us the video. He quickly, nice work by the way, ripped it from Instagram.
Okay.
I can mute it so we can at least see the video.
But here's the thing that kills. Like, it makes the whole atmosphere. Like if it's just visuals, you're gonna get nothing from this.
All right.
And this cocksucker's talking over it. The guy who's narrating it. But you could just get like a smidge. But this guy going, "There's no movie."
I feel bad that Robbie went to the fucking trouble getting him.
Well, it took Robbie 18 seconds, so I don't know that Robbie probably takes longer to trim his nose hairs than he does to do that. But thank you, Robbie.
Here.
Let's throw it up there. This literally.
Let's try it.
There was an end credit trailer after the movie The Monkey. Showed a bunch of women seemingly in different time periods looking into.
Pause it. I need you to understand something. Picture you're in a movie theater, and there's nobody there. This guy's not narrating, and you just hear this noise and see these visuals. Okay.
The camera as if it was a person. And a big theme in the movie The Monkey is these deadbeat dads that seem to just disappear. This film also stars Tatiana Maslany and is set around a couple's romantic getaway that goes wrong. It's said to hold similar themes as The Monkey, including generational trauma and the unpredictability of when the end will
Dude,
come.
how creepy is this music? Look at this.
And to just hit out of nowhere during
Out of
credits.
nowhere. No,
Yeah.
no pretense. Just happened. Look at this, guys. Look at the visual.
Reminds me of like a Gaspar Noé type movie.
God, look at this fucking shit, man.
Don't you get like Gaspar Noé type vibes from this?
This isn't right for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And yeah. Tell me I'm crazy. Shah. That's fucking brilliant, yo.
I always like when they
Thank
in
you,
horror
Robbie.
movies when they almost use like Arabic like themes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
songs
Yeah.
that sound super
Yeah.
creepy. Because I know they did it in like The Exorcist, and this kind of had like the same.
But dude, that shit where when you see like the finish, like like you could be like, and it's just these quick visuals, just very quick, like something. And we know nothing about the film. I am so excited for this movie. I am over the fucking moon, ready to see it tomorrow. But yeah, there's something about like Shah when they used to be a singer. His name was Nosferatu, something like that. They used to use that guy a lot in the 90s and early 2000s. I think he passed away. He was that like Middle Eastern singer, and he would hit these crazy notes, and it was just so impactful. But
Not
Bisha,
Madashahu, right?
no, I know, dude. I fucking
I was gonna say.
no. His name was Nosferatu something. He's like a heavy set
Okay.
older. I think he's dead. Bisho, like those visuals to me when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is like American Giallo shit.
Yeah, it looks creepy. It looks like a dreamy kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Voyeuristic, like someone just watching fuck. Like I always thought that was super creepy is people who just sit and fucking eyeball people.
Yeah.
And they don't say anything, and they fucking stare and just watch. It's just a most skeezy vibe. And that's like what I'm getting there is that he's just staring people down. Drew asked if this is about a serial killer that's eternal. That'd be an interesting concept.
They're not saying shit. I'm telling you, there is nothing. You're going to get nothing from this. They're not giving any plot details. But I love that trailer. I was so freaked out, dude. I just stood there in the fucking hallway. I was like this because that music. You got to remember, this is opening weekend for the Monkey. It was in the biggest theater in my, and it was, very loud, empty. And I'm just standing there. Yeah, Robbie, it does look like. That's why I said Giallo. It has heavy European art house 70s vibes. It might very well take place. I think it takes place somewhere in like Maine or some shit like that. But it was these visuals are very like creepy. Everyone's looking directly in the camera. I'm beyond excited about it.
And that's the thing too. It was what do they call it? The Kubrick stare. When he has people give the glance, Nicholson would give the glance into the camera to offset.
Malcolm McDowell in fucking Clockwork Orange. That I was cured, all right.
Yeah, because in most movies they tell you not to stare at the camera, but in these ones
Never.
they're just kind of. And the Nicholson ones were cool because it would be like a passing glance, like he'd be walking across the frame and just kind of catch you.
Smirk. Yeah, almost like a smirk. Yeah, for sure. Hey, we want to get to the Puff Daddy shit, but again, it's just such a crazy week. I really wanted to do some of these trailers, but we will get to some trailers next week for sure. We'll probably even more trailers. But boy, this Puffy trial. Oh boy, as an older person who remembered sort of the advent of Puff Daddy and Diddy and Bad Boy and all that shit and the East Coast West Coast feud and even going back to Puffy's fatal basketball game, which back when he was an intern for Yo MTV Raps, and as somebody who was trying to get on Puffy's label in the late 90s, early 2000s, had some experiences there talking with his brother, trying to get on the label in a previous life. This is some crazy ass shit. Shah, I know that there is this world of very rich people and famous people, and I'm around some semi kind of famous people who do ill shit. But the stuff that Puffy's getting accused of, by and large, is so like beyond the pale of crazy rich guy banging people, having sex orgies. now he's getting guys to like come in his girlfriend's mouth and then she spits it on his nipples and also like this is just like this is beyond anything I've ever heard of before outside of Caligula,
Yeah, it is like the hip hop version of Caligula.
Yeah.
If anybody's seen that movie, you'll understand how fucking
it is. This is Caligula.
Yeah, it is. No, this is definitely he is one freaky ass dude, man. I mean, this guy, he had the baby oil. He wanted it lukewarm in bath.
Baby oil.
What kind of? And then I also feel really awful for Cassie's new husband. Like, can you imagine this guy having to sit there and listen to her say that she had fatigue because she was having sex for 48 hours straight. Some of these orgies were going on for 3 days.
Yeah.
No sleep. 3 days.
Did you see this from
Well,
College Kid?
Shah, his motto was "Can't stop, won't stop." So
That's
I
true.
mean, maybe it was like, Puffy, are we done with the orgy? Can't stop, won't stop.
That's true.
What were you gonna say there, B?
I was going to say, my buddy at College Kid posted this. He said, Cassie reveals Diddy's freak-offs would leave her with tongue sores and urinary tract infections. The tongue sores were from friction.
Yeah.
Could you? Yeah.
UTIs?
Yes. She was on painkillers because of the UTIs. Shah was telling me some stuff before we jumped on that was even worse than that. But
Yeah. Apparently he's
Allegedly. Let's throw that in there.
yes.
Yeah. Allegedly he also graped a woman.
Yeah.
And she said she was very thankful of how little his penis is because it was the size of a Tootsie Roll, hard, because she wasn't in pain afterwards. That's a thing.
Wow.
Another reason why he might be a cuckold,
Mhm.
that's why he probably liked just watching other dudes and jerking off to that, because it's like, dude, what are you gonna do with a Tootsie Roll?
What's the lyrics? Hot and heavy, sweet as gold. Let me see the Tootsie Roll.
I like this. That's what Puffy said as he was doing it. As someone, like I said, I'm older. He's my age, Puffy. Like all of the advent of this guy. This guy was a superstar. He's worth billions of dollars, super famous dude. B-Show, is there any way in hell this guy ever sees daylight?
It's funny. I don't think so, but there's a fucking army of people right now that are like, oh, this doesn't matter. And she agreed to it. It's almost like what I'm seeing too with, I don't know if it's just spurned dudes or people who can't believe someone would do this shit and they think women just lie. But it's the same stuff we saw with the alleged stuff with Vince McMahon and what was her name? The Janelle Grant stuff.
Right.
As soon as shit comes out about someone that they see as a fucking god, I don't understand this worship culture shit we do where I could definitely believe that rich, powerful celebrities would do shit like this. No, they wouldn't. Absolutely not. They would never do that. She's a liar. Women lie. They all try to get men all the time. And I don't know if it's just this incel culture that's breeding online or if it's just people legitimately don't want to believe that there's bad shit that happens out there.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised, like Michael Jackson and R. Kelly, if people still buy his music, but I don't think he's going to get a deal. I think he's going out of the prison.
I think he's going to prison. I think it would be impossible for this to be conjecture at this point. Let me ask you guys a question. So I'm in my kitchen. I'm cooking like last week, and I have my shuffle on, and I have a lot of Biggie on my shuffle, and Puffy's on every Biggie song. I also have some Nas on my shuffle, and Puffy did an album with Nas that was very successful. Shah, are we at the point now where this is going to be kind of like R. Kelly, where we're going to just wipe this music away?
Well, I think it's much easier to wipe away Puffy's music. I don't know how much great music
with Biggie. You're going to wipe away Biggie Smalls?
You don't have to wipe away Biggie though. I'm talking about just
he's on almost every song. He's on in some capacity.
Yeah, he's doing some ad libs. No one's canceling him for ad libs. Puffy's there.
Yeah, who's going to be talking to him on the phone, talking about what song is that?
Well, dude, like he does the whole hook in the Nas song "Hate Me Now," which is a tremendous song.
Yeah,
that's a fucking huge song, dude.
Yeah, that's one song though. But Puffy wasn't really like relevant in hip hop as far as doing features and stuff. Like he was, he doesn't have too many bangers, dude.
I don't know,
Dude, the
man.
songs with Mace were like #1 fucking song, #1
Yeah.
album
Been
song.
around the
handful of
world and
songs
yeah,
that-
yeah.
#1
Yeah,
song. It's like a
yeah, but dude,
top.
those are a handful of songs you're referring to. As far as actual Puffy songs, he's probably got like 4 or 5, man. No one's going.
It doesn't matter. There's still so much prolific shit out there that he was like accompanying people on and producing on.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. He's not like he doesn't have too many.
They just gotta
features
take
on
him out of
Diddy.
like the Biggie song, like where he's like, let's get your friends and I'll get my friends.
That's
and
what I
then
mean.
I'll
Though. He's
rape
just
your
doing
friends,
intro.
and then I'll rape my friends.
And then
like,
make your friends sit in a bathtub
and
full
then
of
I'll make
fucking
your friends
oil.
put their baby oil on my nips. Like, I don't know. Like, I just, you know what? It really
Making the
sucks.
band. I want you
We
to go
don't-
downtown.
We don't even have like a Key and Peele or a Chappelle show to really
I
give this the
know.
energy it needs. That's the
know.
goddamn shame.
I want you to go downtown, walk 6 blocks,
Yeah.
go down to Marcy Projects, give
Yeah.
me 600 liters of baby oil. Come on back and pour it in the tub, baby.
I'm shutting the studio down. It's the best. Dude, Chappelle had a little thing about it. He goes, Puffy, he was like, this motherfucker's in trouble. And he goes, I was at a lot of these parties. Everyone asked me, Dave, how come you weren't invited to any of them? And I'm paraphrasing. And Chappelle goes, and that's when I realized that I am obviously an ugly motherfucker. This is not the way I wanted to find out that I was not attractive.
There was a comedian, there's a stand-up that did a bit something along the lines of, the U.S. government really loves oil. They didn't want anything to do with Puffy until they found out how much he had too.
Yeah. Shah, who's in bigger trouble, Kanye or Puffy right now?
Man, I'm glad you brought up Kanye because I don't know if you guys are aware of this trend. Do you know his newest song? I don't even want to say it. It's a Hitler song. Do you know his newest song?
Heil Hitler, yeah.
Yeah.
The chorus is Heil Hitler.
That's going viral and
Yeah.
all across the world. I've seen clips from Japan, from
Yeah,
even
they love it.
Africa. Everyone's singing this song and doing the Nazi salutes, dude. Like,
They love
I don't
it.
know.
Can you
I don't
believe
know
it?
what
This
world
is
we're
where we
living
live
in,
now.
bro.
This is where we
It's-
live now.
Yo, it's 2025 and like Hitler's becoming popular again. That's
This is where we're normalizing Heil Hitler with Kanye, and apparently Puffy, is maybe one of the worst people who's ever lived. Yeah, it's
Yo,
number
and
one. In
I'm not
Germany.
saying there's like 2 or 3 clips of people doing this.
Oh
I've
no,
seen,
I've seen
like a
countless
ton of clips, and this isn't just in America. This is
white
all
people,
across
Asian
the
people,
world.
black people,
All
Latino
across the
people.
world. Yeah.
Mostly
Do you-
not in this country. Let's be fair.
Well, I was gonna say, do you think it's a language
Let's
thing where
be
they don't
fair.
really get
No,
it?
they're doing the Nazi salute, dude, in the videos. I can send you a couple if you want to play them.
Yeah, no, I don't think we should play.
No. It's funny, John. I think you and I talked about this when the other shit broke out. Being from the Midwest, whenever I would hear people say that it's on the rise and that it's everywhere, I'd be like, I don't see anything.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, the #1 song in the world is HH.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm uncle.
I don't see
you know?
it around me either, though. Like I haven't seen any like.
I don't see it.
swatting of
Well,
graffitis.
I don't see it around me. But Joe Rogan was even kind of normalizing it, which is really just like, he was like, it's a catchy song. And I'm like, yo, dude, like up until like a year ago, no one would say that. Like you would be making apology videos going, I made a huge mistake. I in no means, like, I mean, we've all grown up in a world where there was one thing above anything else, and that was Hitler praise was probably not a good idea in public. I think we could all agree. We've been living in that no Hitler world, Shah, for a long time.
Yeah, you remember how quickly Schlack got canceled for having like a picture from like 10 years ago where he was doing it, I guess, like sarcastically with some.
Oh, that wrestler
Yeah.
from the Radicals or whatever, making a joke like with the thing. I don't even think that dude's white. I didn't think that dude was even like a white guy. He's been canceled. He was canceled immediately. Got fired from NXT. I forget his name. Listen, they're very different circumstances. Kanye is clearly insane, and he's doing awful things that will never really, like, you just will. They'll never be normalized. I don't care how many people in Thailand think it's funny. It's not going to be normalized. The Puffy shit is sex trafficking, rape, sex trafficking, rape. They're not the same things.
No.
But I don't see anybody singing Puffy songs in public, Shah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, obviously what Puffy did, man, it's crazy. But I think what Kanye is doing, that influence is gonna be a lot more damaging than what Puffy did.
Yeah.
I don't think too many
Clearly.
people are going to start throwing orgies with baby oil because of this.
Yeah.
But people praising Hitler now, like that's, I don't even know, man.
Yeah.
Crazy
I
time.
mean, the thought, I mean, B-Show, if you would even told me 18 months ago, you know, if you would have told me October 5th, okay, that, hey, one of the biggest recording artists of the 21st century is going to make Hitler songs, non-ironically, and people are going to love it. Would you have taken that bet?
No, because that's what.
Oh.
Well,
Sorry, wrapping
we're
there.
back.
We all got dumped.
I think we all got you. Somebody called the authorities.
But what I was going to say is, when I said that not that I don't believe it, but that I don't see it, and it's hard for me to be like, is this really a big deal? Is because anyone I know that would even joke would not even be anywhere serious or think about doing anything like that at all.
Publicly,
right?
For fear of
Exactly.
condemnation.
Exactly. And the fact that it's being done and it seems to have been accepted is really fucking weird.
It's
really weird.
Well, like Shah said, that's very damaging. And this is a very, there's one thing I want before we wrap up. Do you guys see what's going on with Justin Bieber? That he's publicly making himself seem unstable because he's worried he's going to have to testify for Pumpy.
Yeah.
Like he's acting like he's mentally unfit and in some sort of mental health or crisis.
He's pulling a Jimmy Snuka, man. That's what he's doing.
He's pulling,
brother.
Brother, I didn't kill no girl, brother. I wouldn't kill a fly, brother. I wouldn't push a fly off a balcony, brother. You know?
It's strange, man. And, I feel bad for him because there's a lot of clips of, like, actresses and musicians and stuff when he was little, like, kind of being inappropriate with them.
Oh, Puffy, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, with Bieber. And I hope Bieber isn't messed up. And I hope, it is just a ploy. But it's like, how deep does this go? How far does it go? How long has it been going on? What influence? You know what I mean? What's on the tapes?
Why don't we have the tapes? That's the other thing too. Like there's enough people around. I want to leave you with this anecdote. Back in the day when Puffy was like the biggest star in the world and he was sort of navigating the Biggie murder and the LA, New York, East Coast, West Coast feud, Marilyn Manson became very famous at that time. So you had these two things sort of happening simultaneously. And Kurt Loder, who just recently turned 80, I think, I'm not even joking, from MTV News,
I saw that.
asked Puffy, is it true that you wanted to work with Marilyn Manson? And Marilyn Manson was coming over a lot of fire because of Columbine. Marilyn Manson was getting canceled as a Satanist. And now, granted, Marilyn Manson has gone on to have some other very large problems as well. But let's just focus on this for right now. This is the late 90s and mid 90s. And Puffy goes, I did want to work with him. But then I came to realize that this is a man who doesn't believe in God. And I found that I could not work with somebody who does not believe in God. How could you not say there's a God or be afraid of God? And I remember him getting very churchy about this with Manson. And then I was like, oh, I guess Puffy's like some big religious guy. And now we fast forward all these years later. And this dude is like Nero, running around, I don't even know if we've even scratched the surface yet. I just thought that was very interesting that he got very moralistic to not work with Marilyn Manson because of Columbine. But at that time, he may have already been indulging in this behavior. It's very, very sad. I don't think enough talk is being talked about the victims of this. And there's probably quite a few of them. It's becoming a bit of a circus, but I don't think this dude is ever seeing the light of day. I think he is done for life. I think there is no chance, and they're going to make a huge example out of him, to the point where, this guy is going to be thrown under a jail. And let's just see how this plays out. Maybe Kanye and him could share a cell together at some point. They would be like making some great songs together. That'd be interesting. Has Kanye and Puffy ever worked together? This could be the duet we've been waiting for.
I don't think so, but Kanye is in big support of Diddy. He started putting out Sean John t-shirts recently. I don't know.
Oh my God.
I'm sure Puffy's thrilled.
What are they gonna do? Sample "Heaven and Hell" by fucking Dio and
Puffy's probably in jail. Be like, this motherfucker's wearing Sean John with the Nazi shit. Are you crazy?
Honestly, I don't think he would mind because the megalomaniac about him. I think he would dig that.
I will call an audible on that. I guarantee you, he cannot afford to be looped in with anything else. Now, on top of everything else, he's got a guy who was wearing a KKK outfit, making hell hitless songs, telling everybody that he's guilty, that he's not guilty. Oh, please, you're not helping. Like, honestly, Puffy's probably having messages said like, please disavow me. Like, yeah, Marquise just said a Yee endorsement is a death sentence. All right, listen, we're going to wrap it up. We got a ton of stuff we want to get to on the Patreon. But let's plug Hey Now Rich Dow's podcast, The Wrestling Soup, that Don Tony and the late, great Kevin Castle. We got our friends, the Bayou Geeks. We got our friends at Ringsiders Wrestling. What's the podcast you're going on, Shah, for our good friend Anthony Austin?
Look up Soapbox Ants. And Rich Dow's podcast is called X's and O's.
X's and O's, I forgot. I just like saying, hey now, Rich Dow. But we're going to get to it. Listen, I will be on the road this weekend. I'm leaving tomorrow, doing a bunch of shows, hanging out with the Cro-Mags. I'll be in Syracuse Friday. I'll be in Jersey Saturday. I'll be in Rhode Island on Sunday. So if you're in the mood for a little hardcore, you'll see me bopping around beardless there. On the hanging out. I'll be doing some guitar side stuff with my buddy there. We're hitting the road tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week on the regular show. Take that.
Hang on. It says it's just an outro. Hang on.
Oh, we have an outro? It's not the Hitler song.
It was a mistake.